calibrated tone in macro commentary, uncertainty language made easy. Ever sat through a market update that felt like a disaster movie? Let's do better. A calibrated tone helps you sound informed, not alarmist. You're the steady voice people trust. In uncertain moments, credibility depends on acknowledging what we know and what we don't. That balance keeps your audience engaged instead of anxious. Most importantly, your tone shapes decisions. With clear context and measured language, listeners can make balanced decisions, neither overreacting nor ignoring risks. Think of your role as a pilot in light turbulence, calm, precise, and honest about conditions ahead. Start with a firm signal. State the base case clearly so people know your central view. Then add a hedge. Quantify the uncertainty without drama. For example, we expect growth to slow with a roughly 60% probability. Is informative, not fear-inducing. Keep probability, not panic as your mantra. Also, use evidence before adjectives. Say, orders fell 4% quarter over quarter. That's a notable deceleration. Rather than, this is terrible. Data first creates trust. Adjectives then frame the magnitude without exaggeration. When you need nuance, reach for phrases that guide expectations. Try, on balance, we expect, to signal a weighted view after considering mixed data. Use, risks are skewed toward, to show direction without claiming certainty, e.g., risks are skewed towards slower hiring. And our confidence is moderate tells listeners how hard to lean on the call. Combine them. On balance, we expect stable rates. Risks are skewed toward one more hike, and our confidence is moderate. These cues feel professional, reduce ambiguity, and steer action without overpromising. Some words spike anxiety and undermine trust. Skip absolute words like collapse or never unless they're truly warranted. They close minds and invite pushback. Don't anchor on worst case only. Mention it, but frame it as a scenario with a probability, not the destiny. Also, limit dramatic metaphors. No cliffs, tsunamis, or bloodbaths. Instead, use concrete metrics and ranges. You're aiming for clarity, not clicks. A steady voice keeps stakeholders listening, and more importantly, acting on the parts they can control. Numbers calm nerves when used carefully. Use ranges and bands. For example, growth at 0.3 to 0.5% QQ to reflect real uncertainty. Always pair data with a time horizon. Over the next 2 quarters reads very differently than this month. Finally, explain what would change the view. If core inflation reaccelerates above 0.4% meter per meter for 2 prints, we'd revisit easing odds. This tells listeners how to monitor conditions and prevents whiplash when you update the call. Use a reliable, repeatable flow. Start with context, what's happening and why it matters. Then give the base case, your central expectation with key drivers. Close with risks, upside and downside, with rough odds. Separate near-term versus medium-term to avoid mixing signals. What's likely in weeks may differ from quarters. Highlight data dependency and checkpoints, which indicators you watch, when they arrive, and how they might shift the view. A consistent structure builds trust and makes your audience faster at decoding your message. Use crisp, conditional statements. Example, if inflation cools, easing likely, otherwise pause. That sets a trigger without theatrics. For mixed signals, labor data is softening, but not uniformly. Acknowledge weakness while noting resilience across sectors. And to avoid overreach, we see downside risks, not a downturn call. This separates risk from base case. These phrases help you be precise, transparent, and calm. Exactly what decision makers need under uncertainty. Before you hit send or present, run a quick check. Lead with facts, label uncertainty, data first, then your confidence level. Prefer gradients over binaries, ranges, scenarios, and probabilities beat yes-no claims. Keep a calm tone, consistent terms, clear next steps. Tell people what to watch and when you'll update. The goal isn't to predict perfectly, it's to guide decisions responsibly. With a calibrated tone, you become the person people trust when the outlook is murky.